This podcast is a humble offering, a space where Indian and American hearts meet and where the spiritual conversations light the path forward. Welcome to As We Speak, is presented by Namaskar, America.
In Netflix, there is a new web series is there. It is talking about these mental health issues of teenagers, and they are naming it as adolescence something. There was one web series where a teenager, killed his girlfriend, because she was not responding to her messages, and those conversations were going on through emojis. So because of not proper having that response coming back on his phone, he got so disturbed that he killed her and he committed suicide. So this, how does Bhagavad Gita, if it bring Bhagavad Gita into picture, how does Bhagavad Gita helps the teenagers and the adults in solving their mental health issues?
So Bhagavad Gita says that people are influenced by three modes of nature. Prakriti, in the Prakriti, there are three modes: Sattva-guna, Rajoguna and Tamoguna. So today, people are mostly influenced by Rajoguna and Tamoguna, especially in Kali Yuga. And that Rajoguna, Tamoguna influence, when it comes to mental health, we have to understand that they are exposed to too much of videos, video games today on the web, which is promoting more of these kind of Rajoguna and Tamoguna activities. So if I am mentally not stable, it means that I have watched so many horror movies, so many movies which has killing, and especially if you see the video games today, it's more of violence, so much of violence. So when I am so much exposed to violence, it's very natural I behave violently. I don't care, I am behaving violently with my family men, my friends in the school. So this is the reason. So that's why Krishna says that if we need a solution for mental health, it is to shift the people's activities, their scope of activities to Sattva Guna, wherein they get values about whom we are dealing with. So we become more animalistic, more barbarian when we are influenced by Tamoguna and Rajoguna. If we are more sattvic in nature, we value everybody, we don't want to hurt anybody, we don't want to abuse anybody. So these kind of value systems, there will be a shift of value systems when we are exposed to a spiritual culture. So spiritual culture is a basic necessity today in the society for every human being. That's what Prahlad Maharaj says in Bhagavatam, that Kaumaram acharet pragno dharman bhagavataniha durlabam manusham janma tadapi adruvam artadam. So he says this spiritual culture has to be taught from the teenage, from the tender age of 5, Kaumara. And from then, all those intelligent people who are engaged in training their kids at the age of 5, they will engage them in Kaumaram Acharet Pragno Dharman Bhagavataniha. They should be engaged in the culture of practicing devotional service, bhakti. And why it has to be done? Durlabham Manusham Janma. Among all the temporary bodies what we get, even though this material body, this human body is a temporary body, this is Durlabham, very rare. Tadapi adhruvam arthadam. This body gives a meaningful life when we engage in the spiritual culture, in the activities of bhakti. So this is the formula given by Prahlad Maharaj, that every kid, as soon as kid is born, they have to be trained in brahmacharya. They have to be told how to control your senses. In the name of freedom, we are letting our senses loose, and we are seeing huge failure in the society. So human life is not for an artificial freedom and artificial individuality. Human life is to get trained and gain real freedom, real individuality. So this kind of culture is called Bhagavata Dharma, and that is Krishna consciousness. That is called Bhakti or devotional service.
Prabhuji, you use some Sanskrit words in your talk. You use Tamogun, you use Rajogun, and you use Sattogun. If you briefly say about these three terminologies, what is this?
Sattvagun means one who is thoughtful, one who has an ability to discriminate, discern what is good, what is wrong, what is right, what is not right, and how to be cool-headed, how to develop patience, how to tolerate, accumulate knowledge, and teach this to others. So all those good value systems, good attributes, good qualities a person can develop, that is possible when I am influenced by Sattva-guna. And Sattva-guna mainly is characterized by Satyam, truthfulness, Shaucham, cleanliness, and many other attributes as Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita. Rajoguna means it is passionate behavior. He or she is driven for results. They work whole day. They don't care about their body, mind, health. They are just driven by results, and they are only interested in engaging the fruits of their activities in further gratifying their senses. Want to just enjoy life, freak out. Eat, drink, be merry. This is the philosophy of many Rajoguna influenced humans. Tamoguna means it makes you disinterested in any activity. You don't want to perform any activity. It gives you impetus to only sleep, always be lazy, indolent, inactive, and think that just sleeping 24 hours is the happiness. So this is the kind of influence you will have in Tamoguna, wherein you will not have any understanding that even you are a human being. I will act as lesser than even an animal, irresponsible person. Whereas at least Rajoguna will keep you active. Sattvaguna will make you think, what meaningful action should I do? Tamoguna, you act in recklessly, without any meaning. You are not interested in the fruit. You are just a lost person in the world. So that is why, and if I am influenced in Tamoguna, there is no scope for me to even touch spirituality. Nothing goes into my head. There is no scope for discussion. That person is like a dead body. So these are the influences. In brief, Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita in the last chapters how each and every quality is present in each and every activity. For example, I like certain foodstuff. Foodstuff also is in these three categories. If I am eating meat, beef, then egg and so many other foodstuff, tamasic we call foodstuff, that is making me more go into Tamoguna. There are foodstuffs in Rajoguna, spices, too much salt. So like that many foodstuffs are there. Sattvaguna, one who eats more sweet and eats those grains, vegetables, fruits, etc. He is in Sattvaguna. So these tastes vary even in the fruits, vegetables category. So somebody is getting up late, somebody is awake throughout the night. So all these activities, what kind of dresses they wear, what kind of music I hear, what kind of movies I see, every activity in my life is driven by these three modes, 24/7. So these kind of modes are working, and it's very important for a person to know that what is driving me, what kind of modes I am influenced in. That is why it's important that the technology of the modes Krishna explains, and finally he says, I have to transcend these three modes and come to the level of spiritual activity. So these are, at least for knowledge it is important. by the culture of Krishna consciousness, we gradually elevate ourselves to Sattva Guna and we go even beyond Sattva Guna.
Prabhuji, you are mentioning about Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is a very voluminous book, 18 chapters, 700 shlokas. Today's generation is a reel generation. Everything short, YouTube shorts, Instagram reels. So tell me some 5 important things from Bhagavad Gita that people can take some values from that.
So in the age of few seconds now, which 3 hours movies have reduced to 1.5 hour, and then cricket was test cricket, it has come to one day cricket, T20, IPLs. So even though those things are there, what immediate, the people are looking for immediate kick, immediate pleasure, immediate happiness. So that now they are getting in scrolling. So that's why people say now, doctors say less scroll time. We keep scrolling. So even though that is there, we have seen practically everybody will get some kind of a pleasure in kirtan. And music, dance, prasadam, here with all these 3, people will get more attracted to hear Krishna conscious philosophy. Now, directly somebody is ready to hear Bhagavad Gita, they have to be in Sattva Guna. Otherwise, people who are in Rajoguna and Tamoguna can't directly, patiently sit and hear Bhagavad Gita. That is why Bhagavad Gita philosophy, before even we talk, the practical application of Bhagavad Gita is given in kirtans, giving them prasadam and making them dance in the kirtans. That will gradually bring them to a point where they will on their own ask questions and hear Bhagavad Gita. Even if they are not ready to hear Bhagavad Gita, if we are able to give them the Bhagavad Gita in a form which Srila Prabhupada and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given, make them hear a Hare Krishna mantra. That itself is sufficient for them, as good as hearing Bhagavad Gita shlokas. So this is the way we have to attract them, and once they are saturated with these 3, dancing, hearing Krishna's kirtan and taking prasadam, and giving them small doses of Bhagavad Gita shlokas every day, we make them eligible to understand and realize Bhagavad Gita shlokas. Otherwise, the current population, you find very hardly somebody is in Sattva Guna. So our movement, Prabhupada's movement, is to give Krishna consciousness to everybody. So we can't give directly Bhagavad Gita philosophy, and we can give everybody prasadam, kirtan, make them dance, which without any resistance people will take up seriously.
Any 5 points of Bhagavad Gita that is coming to your mind? Immediately you want to say 5 highlighted things.
So Bhagavad Gita has elaborate concepts, many concepts. The fundamental concept is that I am not the body, I am soul. So this is the first concept. Second concept is that I am a spirit soul, I am trapped in this body which is made up of 24 elements. And third concept is that soul is having its own attribute as consciousness. Then that soul is part and parcel of Krishna. And we are trapped in this body, we are undergoing lifetimes of cycles of birth and death, and our goal is to go back to Krishna. These are the 5 basic primary concepts which Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita, and he says that we have to connect back to him through the yoga system, and that connecting link, re-establishment, is called as yoga, and that yoga is bhakti yoga.
But you can say soul is there, I can say soul is there. But how do we prove to the world that actually soul exists? I don't see your soul, you don't see my soul. But how do we prove that soul exists?
So Krishna gives varieties of logic in Bhagavad Gita. First logic is, he says, Dehinosmin yatha dehe kaumaram yauvanam jara tatha dehantara praptir dhiras tatra na muhyati. So Krishna explains a simple logic. As the embodied soul passes from childhood to youthhood to old age, similarly the soul passes from one body to another after death. A sober man is not bewildered by such a change. He explains this simple logic, and it's applicable not only to human being, to all the species what we see here. We were a small kid, and I remember some of the important experiences I had when I was a small kid. But I don't have that body now. My body has completely changed. But the experiencer in that body and in experiencer in this body is the same person, even though body has changed. So something has changed and something has not changed.
But I can say your body is grown, not changed.
So that grown is a phenomena of continuous change which has been happening from the point of birth to that. There's a continuous change of, seamless change of body which is happening, which is medically proven, and that change is mentioned as growth. Growth means change. Without change there can't be growth. So when there is a change, we should understand body has changed. But what has not changed is what Krishna is referring to as the soul, and that soul is a person who is experiencer, witnesser of these changes, and that soul will continue to be present up to the point of death in this body, even though the bodies are changing. But because I am confined to this body, I can witness changes in this body, but there is some sudden change which is going to happen, and the soul will be transferred to another body, and in the next body soul forgets the older experiences and will now be given a new experience of a new body, and that experience will be available for the soul in the next body. Like that, a series of continuous change of bodies has been happening, but that person, even though in different body, that person has not changed, and that person is the soul.
How the mind is related to soul? Is the mind and soul same or different?
So mind is a tool in the body. We are using a laptop, we call software and hardware. But who is the person who is using the software and the hardware? A computer. Computer is just a mechanical device. It has software, it has hardware. Similarly, my system, my body, my robot, which I am sitting in as a soul, has a hardware, has a software. So the software, just for an analogy, we call manas, buddhi, ahankara. That software has manas, that is called mind, which has a faculty of thinking, feeling and willing. So I am thinking.
So mind is a software.
Mind is part of the software, one of the elements of the software. Like that, intelligence is another portion of the software. There is ahankara, false ego is another part of the software. So this wholesome software is carrying the soul from one body to another body as air carries aroma from one place to another place, Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita. So mind is part of the material body, software or the machine. Krishna says this is yantra rudani maya. He says my energy maya has created this yantra or a robot. You are a Sarvalakshana Das robot, I am a Shuklambhara Das robot. But the soul who is in this robot is not the robot. He is separate from the robot. He is independent of the robot, and he is experiencing all the activities of the robot. He is experiencing something outside in this world through the senses of the robot. So if one is mistaken that I am this body, so he is not in knowledge, he is in illusion. That's what Krishna says.
So if I practice Bhagavad Gita and I start becoming Krishna conscious, then what will happen to my material goals, material dreams? My so many desires are there. Whether I have to leave all of them, or what will happen to me then?
So it's an understanding, it's a wrong understanding that if one has to practice spirituality or Krishna consciousness or follow Bhagavad Gita, that one has to leave something. primarily we have to understand nothing belongs to me here. Krishna says, Bhoktaram Yagna Tapasam Sarva Loka Maheshwaram Suhridam Sarva Bhutanam Jnatva Mam Shantim Richati. I'll explain this shloka as we go ahead. So Krishna says he is the proprietor of the entire universe. He is the proprietor of all the planets, all the demigods. The whole material creation, he is the proprietor. It means he is proprietor of America, India, Earth planet, other planets. So there is no scope for me to leave anything because I don't possess anything, nor I am the proprietor of something. Temporarily, I have been given certain material resources for me to exist and lead a comfortable life. So there is no scope for leaving. So Krishna's policy is, whatever he has given to me with authority, I have to use it in Krishna's service and make my life more Krishna conscious. So there is no scope of leaving. What I have to do is, I have to add Krishna to my life and make my life Krishna conscious and understand how Krishna is the proprietor of everything. And when I want to advance myself more, I have to understand with full knowledge that I am part and parcel of Krishna. Not only that Krishna is proprietor, I have to engage whatever is in my possession in Krishna's service, and that is Krishna consciousness, that is bhakti. There is no scope for leaving anything.
In Krishna consciousness, becoming rich is allowed, becoming powerful is allowed, being those goals that material people seek outside world, is it allowed in Krishna consciousness?
So the question is not whether it's allowed or not. Whether I need or not is the question. So if Krishna wants me to become rich, in the process of my Krishna consciousness, I'll become rich and engage that richness and wealth in Krishna's service. If Krishna doesn't want me to become rich, with whatever resources I have, I'll continue to be Krishna conscious and engage in Krishna service. So it is dependent on Krishna whether how much I have to become rich, because the whole philosophy or the understanding of Krishna consciousness is, I should primarily try to achieve my success in spiritual life, and material life success will follow. If I alone try to achieve success in my material life, which is temporary, which is going to end as I die, and I am not going to carry any of those proclamations, those achievements with me from this life to next life. So I have to be thoughtful, mindful about where am I putting my energy, whether it is for spiritual progress or it is for my material progress. So initially, when I start with little bit of Krishna consciousness, my material goals might be fully intact. There will be a lot of importance. But gradually when I progress, the percentage of my material goals will come down and my spiritual activities will improve. So it's a naturally guided path. So artificially we just don't make our material ambition zero. Gradually, by purifying my consciousness, naturally I will make my spiritual ambitions, improve my spiritual skills, and those material ambitions, what I am looking for, will gradually subside based on the progress I make in spiritual life. So there is a balance which is required, and devotees will guide according to each and everybody's situation, circumstances, what level they are in, if they are a kid or a youth or adult. So it's not a standard sticky formula. We need to guide people from based on case to case situation.
I remember two people. When one was obese, so he went to a doctor, and doctor told, you add jogging or running in your life, things will become okay. I remember another person, he was having some cholesterol issues. Then the yoga person told him that you add some yoga asanas in your life and things will be all right. So when you are saying adding Krishna in your life, what does it mean actually?
So adding Krishna into my life means adding chanting into my life first, and then reading Bhagavad Gita into my life, and then associating with devotees into my life, and rendering services for Krishna into my life, And there are so many tenets of spiritual life which gets added on when we say add Krishna. The wholesome culture of Krishna consciousness will get added gradually, comfortably and seamlessly into my life. So that is how adding Krishna comes into picture.
So when you say Hare Krishna mantra, what is this Hare Krishna mantra, and how one mantra or a name is going to make me spiritual, and what is this? How a name is going to make me spiritual?
So Krishna is now physically not available for us to interact with. Krishna appeared on the earth planet 5000 years back. He performed his pastimes for 125 years and he disappeared. Now if all of us have to progress in our spiritual life, as you rightly said, none of us have really so much interest in reading Bhagavad Gita. We are in a fast lifestyle, we are chasing happiness, chasing money, chasing power. So with all that, how can we very easily, in a very simplified way, practice spiritual life without getting too much bothered about performing austerities, performing penances, giving up something? So Krishna has given a solution, a one-stop solution, and easily applicable solution. That is, wherever I am, I can simply chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, hearing and chanting simultaneously at least 108 times on a collection of beads, which is called as mala. I regulate my mind, which is straying away all over the place, bringing back and hearing the holy name of Krishna is the spiritual method formula given in Kali Yuga for controlling my mind, for solving all my problems of stress, anxiety, depression, mental issues, family issues, you name the problem. The one-stop solution is chanting Hare Krishna mantra, and all the problems, the root is the mind.
But if I attend any yoga asanas or some, there are so many yoga studios are coming who tells you that sit in a quiet, calm pace, meditate on some object. So I can feel my mind is relaxed, peaceful, calm. Then why I need Hare Krishna mantra, and how it is more relevant or more important than these yoga asanas and all those things?
So we always resort to the authorized medicine. When we have a problem, we go to the doctor, and doctor will prescribe an authorized specific medicine for my ailment, which will cure my ailment very quickly. So we resort to those standard medicines, not invent myself my own technique of solving my own problem. Even though there are many yoga societies who prescribe many methodologies, Krishna explains in the Bhagavad Gita there is Ashtanga Yoga process. There are Angas, eightfold system, which is Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, and finally it is Samadhi or Nirvana. So Krishna says, what is the purpose of all the Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama which yoga societies are teaching? The purpose of all those is to achieve that Samadhi or Brahma Nirvana. So Krishna says this bhakti can directly take you to that Brahma Nirvana or Samadhi stage as a replacement for that eightfold mysticism which was actually practiced in Satya Yuga and not practical in, it's not the medicine for Kali Yuga. We get the direct medicine of Brahma Nirvana, that is Krishna consciousness or chanting and hearing the holy name, which will purify the heart, the contamination which is there in the heart, and cleanse the ego which is contaminating my identity to make me think that I am this body. It is solving the problem at the root. All the other Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, what is being taught by other societies is just the beginning process for controlling the mind, controlling the senses. And Arjuna himself rejects those statements given by Krishna to go to the forest and meditate, because he says 5000 years back it's not practical for him to follow that. So if Arjuna, such a big warrior, if he is not in a position to accept the reality of practicing meditation and say I can't do that, so what are we in Kali Yuga? We are not following brahmacharya, we are not following all the regulative principles as mentioned in the Vedic scriptures, such as no illicit sex, no gambling, no intoxication, no meat eating. We are, in the name of independence, we are doing all sorts of nonsense things, and then we want to achieve success in Brahma Nirvana or Samadhi. It's not practical, it's impossible. So with whatever condition we are in, if you want to purify at a quicker rate, accelerate and quickly achieve success in spiritual life, this is the one-stop solution. The proof of pudding is in eating.
More than peaceful mind, more than anxiety-free life and stress-free life, what else we can get from Hare Krishna mantra? What is the zenith of the goal that we can get from Hare Krishna mantra?
Yes, the natural byproducts are alleviating stress, there is no anxiety, reduced by depression, etc. But these are byproducts which will come naturally, but the main achievement of success in chanting Hare Krishna mantra or in spiritual life is to stop this repetition of birth and death which the soul is forced to, and go back to the spiritual world where I can experience permanent happiness, transcendental bliss, spiritual life, and engage in happy activities with Krishna and other devotees in the spiritual world, instead of suffering the pangs of death, old age, birth, disease, and you see so many problems today in the society. Suddenly you find some hurricane, earthquake, and people are dying. So we don't want this kind of a life by default. We are aspiring for a permanent life without any suffering and full of happiness. And this is what Krishna is promising in Bhagavad Gita. Apart from trying to solve the temporary 1 rupee problems, $1 problems, and Krishna is saying, I'll solve $1 billion problem.
I can dream of that reality, that I may achieve that reality, but in today's, my scenario is I have deadlines, I have to pay my bills, I have to rush to my office Monday to Friday, and because I work hard, I want to party hard. So how can I find time to chant Hare Krishna mantra and follow these Krishna consciousness principles?
So you are working hard to party hard. So you party with Krishna. Your partying hard should be with Krishna. Then your working hard also will get spiritualized, and that working hard, the results of working hard, if you engage in Krishna service, even that will get spiritualized. So we have programs for weekend party harder with Krishna. You come and party hard with us, and you work hard, take care of yourself, and that working hard also will get spiritualized, Krishnaized, and we will give you the formula how to engage the fruits of your activities to take care of your family nicely and lead a comfortable life, and also engage the fruits of your activity in Krishna's service. So you don't have to stop working hard, meeting your deadlines. All that has to continue because you have to live in the society in this body. But we are going to give you a technique to spiritualize those activities gradually, and the formula is keeping the iron in the fire. Gradually it will become so hot that iron will start acting as though it is fire. So this is the technology Srila Prabhupada has given.
When I work hard, the background is I have somebody whom I love. For that person I am working hard. So what is the role of love in Krishna consciousness? Where do we actually put this love, and on whom we should put this love?
So love is mostly a misunderstood word, because love here, what we experience is only a reflection of the real love in the spiritual world between devotees and Krishna. Because here fundamentally we have misunderstood our identity. I am this body. So it is like two robots loving each other. There is no meaning in that love. So here the reflection of love is named as lust. Lust means I want benefit from you, you want benefit from me. Until unless there is no transactional business between both of us, and we are favored between each other, that is named here as love, which is actually a reflection of the original love in the spiritual world. So we are interested in not this kind of a fake love or a imitation love or a reflection of original love. We want to experience that real love which is free from any business transaction, and that is unconditional, uninterrupted, and it is free flowing and it is unlimited, which can be experienced between me and Krishna. So how can I now in my current circumstances experience that love? So we have to add Krishna in between. So instead of loving each other independently of Krishna, we bring in Krishna as the center and we love each other through Krishna, and that love becomes spiritual. Otherwise, it is going to hurt us materially. We'll go into stress, depression, anxiety, and there will be love failures, and that all that so-called love will be for certain duration until unless I benefit from you, you benefit from me. So we are after that permanent transcendental love of Krishna, which is pure and untainted with any benefits seeking out of each other.
But here when I love somebody, I expect love from him. And when the reciprocal love comes, it gives me more kick to work hard, to love him more. But if I start loving Krishna, how do I find that there is a reciprocal of love? Will Krishna also loves me?
Yes, Krishna is a person. Krishna loves me. You can find his reciprocation. As many devotees, as practicing devotees, we feel Krishna's love every day. In our dealings with Krishna, while I am serving him day to day, Krishna's love comes through guidance. So if I am loving my father, if I am loving my friend, we expect good guidance from them so that I come out of all the troubles in my life. So Krishna within the heart as Paramatma or through somebody else, he gives me intelligence, buddhi, gives me buddhi and saves me from all the dangers in the spiritual life and in material life, and in if I am having disease, health problem. So if I am not loving Krishna and I am not taking help from Krishna, I may go to 10 doctors, I may not get a result. But if Krishna is with me, I am loving Krishna and Krishna helps me, Krishna loves me, I will go to the right doctor and then Krishna will help me with the proper solution. So that we can experience may not be physically. So Krishna says we have to see Krishna by hearing, not by seeing. Because today we are incapacitated by this body. I can't see my own soul. I can't see myself. I can't see. How can I see Krishna who is spiritual? So I can see Krishna through hearing and by experiencing Krishna's love through the help, through the guidance, through intelligence, the way he helps each and every devotee strategically, individually, privately in everybody's spiritual life. That we can very easily experience even as a neophyte. When I start understanding what is Krishna consciousness, start following the path of Krishna consciousness, anybody can experience this Krishna's help, his involvement, his love in my life.
When I was a child, I remember my mother would tell me, your goal of life is to pass your 10th board exam. When I crossed 10th board exam, then my father told, no, your goal of life is to cross 12th board exam. I crossed that also. Then family told me, okay, now your goal is to get a good college, have a BTech degree, and then a job, then marriage, and then go to some foreign country and get settled there. So what is the goal of life? And what does Bhagavad Gita tells about this goal of life?
So according to Bhagavad Gita, as Sri Prahlad Maharaj said, the goal of life is to achieve permanent shelter at the lotus feet of the Lord by performing devotional service to Krishna. And devotional service starts from Shravanam Kirtanam, hearing and chanting. So Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atmanivedanam. While I am in this body, I have to perform devotional service. While I quit this body and I go to spiritual world, I continue to render devotional service even in the spiritual world, and that is the aim of life.
But how is it sync with the American dream, which is like enjoy, party and individuality, freedom, don't interfere in my personal space? How does it going to collaborate with that?
You see, whether it is American dream, Indian dream, Australian dream, everybody's dream is to be independent of Krishna and try to enjoy independent of Krishna. It is just like saying, I am in a jail. I want to enjoy, I want to freak out, I want to be independent. In the jail, I will be restricted. So real independence, real freedom is to get out of the jail and go to the city and enjoy. Same way, in illusion, I can create my own dreams, but those dreams are going to be dreams, not the reality. So we have to wake up to the reality. So Krishna is waking up to the reality, waking us to the reality by the help of his pure devotee, his ambassador, spiritual master, whom we should take shelter and take his guidance, and we have to progress in our spiritual path. So that real freedom, even if it is American dream, to make it real, that dream should come real, that we have to wake up and understand that I am not this body, I am soul. Otherwise, in illusion, I'll be spending my whole life for a dream which I will never be able to fulfill.
If a plant is small, we have to take care of it very nicely. Then only it will grow very nicely. So if we want to implement these Krishna conscious ideas in the Western world, in the Western culture, how do we actually implement this? What are the steps?
So that's why we are undertaking a program to feed prasadam to as many people as possible. Generally, people are influenced by tamoguna and rajoguna. Not everybody suddenly will take up Krishna consciousness as we are talking. So for them to elevate from a level where they can come to sattva guna and then even transcend sattva guna and come to spiritual platform, they have to be involved in a lot of pious activities. So to give them an opportunity to become pious, at the same time alleviate their hunger, which is the basic necessity, only then they have the ability to sit and thoughtfully hear what is Krishna consciousness. In mass scale, we have to distribute prasadam in small groups, big groups, organize a huge mass prasadam distribution that will bring in lot of positivity, uplift the consciousness of the people spiritually, and then they'll be eligible this life or some other life to take up Krishna consciousness. So this is the most initial fundamental way of giving them spirituality.
In our childhood, prasadam means we used to get something in hand. So what do you mean by prasadam? Where all you are feeding and what all you give in that prasadam?
So prasadam means mercy of the Lord. So we all have to eat to sustain our body. So whatever is needed by us to eat and to maintain our body, we cook and we offer to the Lord, and Lord partakes and gives us the whole food what we offer to Him as prasadam, that will nourish the body and it will nourish the mind.
Can we say it a karma-free food?
It is not only karma-free, it will also enhance our spiritual understanding of life. Karma-free is just to ensure that I don't get karma for the activities I performed, or I am eating food stuff which is not offered to Krishna. That is just karma-free. It is even beyond karma-free. Krishna will not only nullify the karma, Krishna prasadam will entail us, will make us eligible to receive higher knowledge of Krishna consciousness, higher realizations of Krishna consciousness, also make us to realize I am not the body, I am soul, which is going to be a lifetime project for everybody.
So where all you are serving this prasadam?
So we are...
How many people you serve?
In the temple, we almost serve 700 meals every week. Approximately 36,000 meals in a year. And then in the colleges, we also provide 250 meals every week. And in New York, we feed 100 meals to to homeless, and we want to increase this to 500 per week and 1,000 per week as we go ahead, 5,000 per week, not only here, all over America.
What colleges you serve in?
We are serving in Rutgers, New York, Rutgers, New Brunswick, NJIT, then Bloomfield University, then Middlesex College.
So are you charging with the
No,
students?
it's free. It's free food.
And how about in New York? Where do you serve and do you charge?
We serve
there?
in Harlem. We have collaborated with another organization called LEFSA. They organize homeless to come at a particular spot, and then we distribute
Is
the
it
food.
only for homeless or anyone can take?
Generally, it is homeless, and I think the institution has been serving the homeless. Even if somebody else on the street wants to come and take, we are welcome. We don't restrict. But it is mainly we are serving the needy to satisfy their hunger. But we know that it is prasadam and it will also help them spiritually.
So do you think that this is the basic elementary step to progress in Krishna consciousness?
Right. This is how Srila Prabhupada built the whole movement in 10 years, rapidly, 108 centers, ashrams, gurukulas, temples. It all began with prasadam and going on with prasadam. Today we are all devotees because we are getting sumptuous prasadam. If there is no prasadam, our Krishna consciousness will come down to material consciousness. We can't sustain ourselves.
So Prabhuji, last question. We are discussing on so many topics. So if you want to conclude and want to give one message to this American world and American generation, what one message you want to give to them?
So we humbly request everybody that please take spiritual life as a basic necessity, not as a choice. This is a fundamental prerogative of every human being. This is the fundamental right which everybody has to exercise, that I have to practice spirituality and I have to progress in my spiritual life. It is my fundamental right. So you have the right to exercise your intelligence, to rationalize, to understand, to ask questions, to debate and understand why this is important. There is lot of stuff given by Srila Prabhupada, lot of knowledge, lot of practicing devotees are there who can help you understand and make this as an important component of your life. And there is no choice. This is a necessity today in the human life. This is the only project what we have, and that has to be taken seriously. Don't neglect this, thinking that it is some religion, it is for somebody else, it is Hindu name. It is nothing like that. It's a universal science. Spirituality is a science. So we train, educate, handhold, guide, and we take everybody through an educational system. Just like a student undergoes rigorous training in the university, we have a rigorous training where there is philosophy. Philosophy means darshan, to see more in depth and practice that in our life. Life is a laboratory. And then there are some morality principles we have to follow. And this wholesome idea of spirituality, when there is theory, practicals, morality, we can experience this is a science. This is not a mere faith or a belief. This is a wholesome science. There is scope for discussion. There is scope for understanding. If you don't feel it's right, you can reject.
Prabhuji, just add on this. You are serving in Radha Gopinath Mandir, Edison, New Jersey. So what all measures you have taken here to give this concept to everybody?
So we have various programs tailor-made for kids, for teens, for youth, for adults, and for everybody else who is interested. We have different programs based on their age, based on their capability to receive, based on what interests they have. We have tailor-made sessions, programs to make it more interesting, to make it more attractive for them to take up Krishna consciousness. So you can fit in any of the age group programs, and if you have any suggestions to improvise and give the knowledge in a more innovative way, you are welcome.
Thank you, Prabhuji. It was a wonderful discussion with you, and we got gain an insight of so much detailed knowledge and basic fundamental things of Krishna consciousness. Thank you so much. Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you. Hare Krishna.